We welcome all of you this morning, whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity. Whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, your presence here is a gift. Whenever you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself or eager to engage with others, you have a place here. We are all welcome here. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We are glad you have joined us this morning to reflect on our home, the earth, and how we bring our hope for the future into being. This is a multi-generational worship. We are glad our children are here and will stay with us throughout the service. You can color during the service or write down ideas, and that's for any of you of any age. There are quiet boxes in the entryway, and you will find papers to color at the end of every other pew. We ask those here in person to take a moment to check in by scanning the QR code on the front of your order of service. Then, after the service, seek out and introduce yourself to someone you don't yet know. We have visitors every Sunday, so please make them feel welcome. Now, please join Dr. Rock and the Sanctuary Choir for our first hymn.
Good morning. I invite you all to open your teal hymnals to number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join your voices in song with the choir.
Holy Ocean, still Today we celebrate Earth Day. Earth Day was first celebrated 55 years ago, back in 1970, as a day to honor the Earth and our natural environment. Since then, much has changed. But then again, there is much that has not changed. We still all have choices. We can choose to see one another as allies and siblings rather than bickering adversaries. We can choose to see ourselves as citizens of the earth rather than consumers. We can choose to be grateful to our Mother Earth rather than entitled to her gifts. May it be so. Come, friends, let us now worship together.
Please join with me in reciting our congregational covenant. You'll find the words in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
Through What action am I taking to reduce my carbon footprint?
Well, of course we recycle.
Recycling prevents the emissions of many greenhouse gases and water pollutants and saves energy.
Using recovered material generates less solid waste. Also, when products are made by using recovered rather than virgin materials, less energy is used during manufacturing and fewer pollutants are emitted.
We also use biodegradable poop bags for our daily walks.
For the dogs, honey.
Ah, yes, of course, the dogs. The humans are house trained.
We also insulate our home and use a tankless water heater.
All insulation materials reduce pollutant and greenhouse gas emissions by reducing heating and air conditioning requirements for a building.
Since tankless water heaters only operate when there's a hot water demand, they consume much less energy than conventional systems. Additionally, tankless water heaters produce fewer carbon emissions than their traditional counterparts.
But the biggest impact we make as individuals is living a vegan lifestyle.
Eating a vegan diet could be the single biggest way to reduce environmental impact on Earth. Researchers at the University of Oxford found that cutting meat and dairy products from your diet could reduce an individual's carbon footprint from food by up to 73%.
Did you know that you save more water by not eating a pound of beef than if you stopped showering for 6 months?
Did you know that if every American ate one fewer chicken meal per week, the carbon dioxide saved would be equivalent to removing 500,000 cars off the road?
Did you know that more than 70% of the grains grown in the United States are fed to farmed animals?
Here are some of the worst offenders when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions.
This graph includes processing, transporting, and waste removal.
This graph comes from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN.
What goes into producing 1 pound of beef? 2,900 gallons of water, 25 pounds of feed, 1,345 square feet of land, and that does not include processing, transporting, and waste removal.
I know we're getting a bit preachy, but here's one last interesting statistic.
Did you know that you could remove 1 ton of carbon emissions by switching from a regular car to a hybrid?
Did you know that you could remove 1.5 tons of carbon emissions by going vegan?
Now you know.
At this time, we remind you that we have crayons and paper at the end of every other pew. Feel free to use them or pass them around to someone who wants them sitting nearby. We invite children and youth and adults to draw something during the service, especially something that you love in nature or an idea that you have for sustaining or supporting our beautiful planet. Later in the service, during the last hymn, we will invite you to parade down the aisle with your drawings, showing them off to everyone, and then hanging them with tape on the windows over here. You'll find some tape on those little window sills. And that's all, so enjoy your art.
Enter with me into the space that some call prayer and others name meditation. Open yourself to the wonders and mysteries of the world. Open yourself to compassion and empathy. Take a breath. Take another. Find your center. Spirit of life, known to some as God, Elohim, Yahweh, Allah, the divine spark within, and to others as the highest aspiration of the human heart, or the breath that connects and binds together all life. Move through us and within us this day. Inspire us to wake up to the world as it is, replete with beauty and pain, fellowship and hatred, joy and suffering, and challenge us to examine the ways we are all bound up in the great global systems of oppression and liberation. This day, O Spirit within and around us, we find ourselves in the middle of the ancient holiday of Pesach, Passover. Today, we might remember that its central rituals are described in Haggadahs, a word that translates into English as the telling. Such tellings contain collections of stories and prayers describing the liberation of a people long ago who escaped oppression. On Pesach, their journey from slavery to freedom is recounted. On Pesach, the story reminds us that in every generation there is a Pharaoh, an oppressor, and in every generation there is a people in need of liberation. This year, as wars rage across the world, as Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan are caught in deadly conflicts, as the government of this country unleashes a trade war, as the planet overheats and the climate catastrophe gathers, we are each, all of us, called to ask a simple question. In today's story, am I Pharaoh, or am I the one in need of liberation? And am I Pharaoh, or do I seek liberation? Let us today each ask ourselves this question, and in asking it, resolve to do what we can, however small, however seemingly insignificant, to move everyone towards collective liberation. That it might be so, I invite the congregation to say, Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits heavy and light upon us. Together, and turn now to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and neo-pagan traditions, and speak aloud or hold in our hearts those who need to be held in the loving embrace of this religious community. Amid this great cloud of witness in this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. As we do, let us extend our empathy to all of the suffering that has gone unnamed and celebrate all of the joy that has gone unspoken. We pause now in honor of the beauty, diversity, and wonder that is life. And so in the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite you to enter into a time of silent meditation, reflection, or prayer.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, we are donating to the Houston Sunrise Movement. Sunrise Houston is a chapter of the National Sunrise Movement, a nonpartisan organization dedicated to fighting climate change, white supremacy, and other systems of oppression through a just and equal framework. This morning, we welcome avid cyclist and co-lead of the Transit Working Group, Isaac Metcalf, to tell us more.
Hello, this has been really wonderful. I love that video. At the national level, the Sunrise Movement is a coalition of young people and young at heart people who advocate for the Green New Deal. And the Green New Deal is basically a reimagining of FDR's public works and social programs with a focus on decarbonization of the US and the entire world. Obviously, we are very, very far away from the Green New Deal right now. In fact, most of the Republican Party is actively running against the Green New Deal in their campaign slogans. So we do what we can on the local level. And locally, Sunrise Houston, the Houston chapter of the Sunrise Movement, is right now organizing around the Gulfton BRT. The Gulfton BRT is a bus rapid transit service which has been proposed for the Gulfton area. And if you don't know Gulfton, the neighborhood just southwest of, a little bit southwest of downtown, is the fourth most densely populated zip code in the entire state of Texas. It's composed almost entirely of apartment complexes, but it's run through with dozens of fast and dangerous roads. There's lots of schools, lots of houses, lots of places of work, and people have to navigate getting from place to place. When most of them, or more than anywhere else in Houston, they don't have a car. So there's frequent delays in buses because of the amount of traffic going through there, but the amount of bus commuters makes it difficult for people to get to work on time. And I've heard reports from people who live there of having to leave up to an hour or an hour and a half early to get to their job because they're afraid they're going to miss a transfer. So this bus rapid transit service could be really transformative for this neighborhood. The problem is that this current Whitmer administration has been actively hostile towards almost all transportation or non-car transportation projects. So every month we go to the Metro Board and we speak on behalf of the Gulfton BRT. We try and raise awareness in the community about the proposed project, and hopefully we can get the city to maintain this commitment to build this. With your support, we'll keep making them annoyed at us. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient, and those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
Please join with me to say the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are our offerings.
The time that I invite children up to sing a song with us that we sing in closing circle, My Roots Go Down. And parents are welcome to come too. That would be great. And we invite you in body or spirit to rise. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down, down into the earth. My roots go down.
Our first reading is from the highly acclaimed 2020 sci-fi novel by Kim Stanley Robinson called The Ministry for the Future. Excuse me. This is the novel that Reverend Collins' book group will be reading this month. In the book, people find themselves on a planet warming beyond the capacity of humans to handle, and with increasing mass extinction of species. Throughout the next chapters of the book, people find ways to be resilient, to adapt, and to solve the crisis. In widening climate disasters, people find novel solutions to fix the global problem of carbon emissions. One example is the creation of habitat corridors to slow down the mass extinction of animal species. Here is a quote from the book. The habitat corridor idea was just one early move in the larger Half-Earth project. But first things first. With wild animals critically endangered everywhere, it was necessary to do what we could right now without delay. And habitat corridors had an already existing tradition of methodologies and legal instruments already worked up. The famous Y2Y corridor, Yukon to Yellowstone, was going great. Not that this was the hardest corridor on Earth to establish, the Canadian Rockies being almost empty down their spine, and including a lot of federal and tribal land protected as parks and the like on both sides of the border. Animals had free passage up and down it and protection from hunting. Roads still active in the region had been given under and overpasses. Fences had breaks in them or were torn down entirely. Here ends the first reading.
I was very happy when I saw what the second reading was and that I had been asked to read it because it's by one of my favorite writers, Wendell Berry, who happens to be from Kentucky as well. And this is what I see as one of his most famous works. It's called Manifest, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front. And we will make apologies for the male-centric language of the time the poem was written. Although it was written a while ago, you'll see how pertinent it still is. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die, and you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So, friends, every day, do something that won't compute. Love the Lord. Love the world. Work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant, that you will never live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. Prophesy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of hummus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful, though you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman satisfied to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie down in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection. Here ends the second reading.
Here at First Church. Around the corner from these solar panels are some brand new air conditioning units that replace 15-year-old models, once again using much more efficient technology to save money on our electric bills. How electrifying! Above me, you'll see one of the many light fixtures throughout the church. There are 87 of them. They had old 4-foot-long fluorescent light bulbs in them. They have now been converted to LED light bulbs, and only 2 are needed to put out the same light, and at the same time uses 1/10 the electricity that the fluorescent bulbs used. How illuminating! Behind me is one of 3 ecologically focused water stations we have here at First Church. These were just recently installed, and this particular one has already saved 100 plastic bottles from the landfill. That should whet your appetite for ecological justice. Behind me is the largest window here on our campus. It has recently been replaced and is much more thermally efficient. It's the east side window of the sanctuary. Can you see clearly now how we're dedicated to ecological justice? First Church recently installed a rain barrel to capture rainwater to water the plants in the courtyard. I hope this has all been helpful, and please don't rain on my silly puns.
Hi, my name's Jim McGehee, and I live on Edgewood Avenue in the east end of Houston. And what you see going on here is composting. It may not seem very exciting, but it's something you can do for the environment. This starts out with 2 free ingredients. One is coffee grounds. We have a local coffee shop that gives us about 25 gallons a week. We put the bin out and they fill it up and we take it off. And the rest of it is just leaves, which you see in leaf bags on the corner all over the place. Any kind of leaf will do, the smaller the better. These live oak leaves are ideal. It doesn't seem like very exciting stuff, but what's going on in this composting pile is amazing. There are animals, microscopic animals called rotifers, and rotifers are truly an animal. They have a mouth, they have locomotion, they have organs, and they're aquatic. So they need water, and they also need oxygen. So by mixing the coffee grounds together with the leaves, you get enough oxygen and water that this will heat up. And the biological activity of these rotifers actually makes the material that has fertilizer value. By themselves, if you just spread them out on the ground, they don't do very much at all. Eventually they will. But by making this compost, we can grow vegetables, and we have a vegan, animal-free way to fertilize the garden. So the way it helps the environment is if you flush this down the disposal, it goes to the water treatment plant that has rotifers also in the treatment basin, but the cost of treating it is immense. And the more you can keep out of landfills where it's going to make methane, or out of treatment plants which is going to cost the city and the taxpayers a lot of money to treat, the better. So thank you and good luck.
All right. It's 2025, and it's time to pick our energy source for this year.
Which one do you want to choose?
You should choose me because my energy is clean, reliable, and efficient.
No. Pick me because my energy is clean, effective, very efficient, and doesn't need that much land.
Actually, I think I'm the best option because my energy is cheap, effective, very efficient, and it provides much more energy for less fuel.
Well, it seems pretty obvious to me which one is the best. So I choose fossil fuels.
But wait, fossil fuels aren't clean and they cause pollution across the world.
Yeah, my energy is much cleaner and doesn't cause any harm to the environment.
That's not true. Building wind turbines causes habitat destruction, and birds might fly and collide into the blades.
Well, you have your own issues like material use, and you still require quite a lot of land, more than you think.
My materials are cheap. They give a lot of energy, and they don't take nearly as much land as the other sources. Plus, I have been the biggest energy source for a while.
Yeah, haven't we been?
using fossil fuels as the majority of our energy sources for many years, it would be impossible to switch to something new now.
It may seem really hard, but we already have many wind turbines and solar panels across the earth. Even if it will take a while to get completely used to renewable energy, it will still be worth it in the end.
We can take a step in the right direction by using less fossil fuel so we can save the earth. Sorry, I was just all caught up in acting and things. All of us can be inspired by those who are making justice, helping heal the earth, and calling attention to important issues. The First UU youth have found many youth environmental activists, whether local or national or international, to be inspiring. We highlight today someone who has been an environmental advocate and is worth knowing about, Lasean Mutunke. Lasean Mutunke, who is an avid lover of football, or as we call it here in America, soccer, and the outdoors, was inspired to do his part for the planet after studying the damaging effects of pollution, deforestation, and climate change. He has made changes around his school and his local community by encouraging healthier habits for recycling. He also plants a tree for every goal he scores in his football club. What a great idea. Planting a tree for every goal. Maybe some of us could do something creative like that. Take a moment to let your mind brainstorm with creativity. This is how we have the chance to renew our world.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is one of the ways that we're lowering our carbon footprint. As you can see on our house, we have these solar panels which provide sustainable electricity to our home.
Since 2011, Houston has lost 10% of its tree canopy. Why is that important? It is important because it worsens air quality and increases temperatures in our community. But what can we do to stop it? We can stop it by planting a tree like I'm doing today, which can help improve Houston's air quality, lower temperatures, and see better effects in our environment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Burris, and here in our home kitchen, I cook a lot of plant-based meals, and I'm going to take you through cooking a green soup that's made of kale and Swiss chard and spinach and coconut milk. It's a plant-based soup, and I'm also going to show you how we use our compost and our garden. And now I'm heading into our backyard garden where we have greens, and I just have 2 tools. And even though it's late in the season, we have kale. I cut from mostly the bottom and leave these top leaves to continue growing. And we have some Swiss chard, so I'm gonna get some Swiss chard too. Boy, look at these big leaves. Here in the Burris garden, we have 2 seasons of growing, because we just grow a few things. But we have the fall winter, which this is part of, and we have the spring summer. And so I want to show you a few of the things that we just planted recently. We planted this tomato, we planted okra, and we planted eggplant. And over here, some cucumbers that like to climb, so they're going to be coming up here. We also grow mint and sorrel. Now I'm inside and I'm going to wash the leaves off, and then I cut the stems off and cook those first. Then you put all the chopped up stems of the greens in with the onion that you've cooked, so that the leaves, which don't take as long, will be as soft as the stems. Now I've added coconut milk, a little bit of vegetable broth, and some white beans, and cooked it way down, where I'm going to put some into the food processor and whir it so it purees into this green soup, which is really delicious. And I'm going to put it in my container to store it. Also in the Burris kitchen, we do compost. This is our inside compost bin. So after I've been chopping up some vegetables, there's those little leftover pieces, the skins of the garlic and such. I put them in the indoor bin. And then when it's full, I take it outside. We take it out to that turning bin, and then we put the stuff in. Sometimes I put a few leaves in, and then we turn it. The things that I try to do on a daily basis are to cook vegetables, mostly a vegan diet, but definitely a vegetarian diet. I try to grow some of my own food, and I compost. And these are important in trying to lower my carbon footprint.
Good morning, my name is Caroline Müller. I ride my bike to work. I know that biking in Houston is a hotly debated subject, especially around the bike lanes, but I'm really glad that I have a bike lane to ride to work for most of the way. So I'm off to work. Bye!
Our roots go down into the earth. We are willows blowing in the wind. We are acorns waiting to be born. All we kindred souls, drifting here with our ship's companions, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. Each of us has a place in this beloved community on earth, and we are connected with all of the natural world, our home, the earth. Of course, you've heard this before, and you know it deep down in your body and in your soul. But in our everyday lives, it is very easy to forget, especially when we are inundated by our culture's messages to consume, to throw away, to constantly be distracted by social media, by what our work demands of us. So this morning, I hope you feel in your body and in your soul that your roots go down and that the earth is your beautiful blue boat home. We are part of the earth, not consumers. We are part of the earth along with every species of animal and plant. We are not better than the rainwater, than the algae, than the apple tree. We're not better than the crab or the soil or the butterfly. These living organisms are amazing, each of them. How they breathe, how they communicate, how they survive, each has an amazing story. I'm reading a book called The Light Eaters: How the Unseen World of Plant Intelligence Offers a New Understanding of Life on Earth, written by Zoe Schlanger. And I've read in that book about how plants communicate underground and through the air, how they share information within their own bodies through electrical impulse, not unlike our brains. In the book, she explores how a living thing, one that isn't able to move, like a plant, evolves differently than one that can move about, like us animals. In the case of plants who cannot move, their limbs can be lost and replaced without loss of life or much difficulty to the plant. They find different ways of moving about. Let the wind blow my seeds. let birds eat my seeds and let them off somewhere else. Have roots that spread underground and sprout up another plant. Send out a vine. There's a whole chapter on vines in the book and how they amazingly find something to crawl up. This book offers many examples of plant survival. There are flowering plants that adjust how much pollen they offer each day based on the history of how many bees and butterflies have come their way recently. But we humans think of plants as a pretty low life form. I suggest this view is very human-centric and frankly wrong. It's understandable that we're human-centric. If you live with a cat, you know that cats are definitely cat-centric, knowing that the world revolves around them. But learning about plants through recent research has made me more amazed by them than I've ever been. So I want to step back and be reverent. I want to take the time to remember to be less human-centric, to live in awe, to pay attention. I want to live my life being less entitled. Do I sometimes act as if the earth and her parts should be served to me on a platter? Or do I act as if I'm a speck that is part of a beautiful whole earth? I want to be reminded that I'm not entitled to her gifts. I am an animal that wonderfully has the gift of awareness, and I can open my heart to gratitude. In our regular lives, when we're hungry, we go to the grocery store, we go to a restaurant, a drive-through. We may get angry at how long it takes, or if something in our meal isn't done just exactly right. We might be frustrated if the family decided to go to a different place than one we wanted to go to. This is the mindset of a consumer. It's very easy to be in this mindset, right? But if we were to say a poem of gratitude every time we were hungry and there was food before us, it changes how we see the world. A song I learned at a workshop years ago. I brought it home and I sang it with my children. We sang it at our family table. And I've taught it to people here over the years, so you may know it. And it goes like this. Thank you for this food, for this food, for this glorious, glorious food. And the animals, and the vegetables, and the minerals that make it possible. And then in our family we said, bon appetit. So looking for what we are grateful for each day together with our family or friends makes us more present and aware. It changes us. So Earth Day often lists ways. It's a bunch of lists of ways we can change our behavior, like save energy, recycle, compost, commute by bike, use public transportation, insulate your home, install solar on your roof, eat less meat, grow some of your own food, plant a tree for every goal you make in soccer, choose renewable energy options. And there are advocacy options on the list, like go to city council and advocate for recycling to be expanded to apartment complexes and restaurants. Go to the city council and talk to them about the bus service to Gulfton. Speak to your own state senator about a ridiculous bill that will put fees on renewable energy but not fossil fuels. That's happening in Texas right now. Join an environmental nonprofit and support them through your volunteering and through regular contributions. Lists are helpful, I think. We need ideas of what to do and how. We also need others to help show us the way forward. And we may get inspiration from youth advocates like Isaac from the Sunrise Movement Houston and from Lassane Muntukai and others. It may lead us to plant a tree every time someone in our family has a birthday. There is a university, I think it's in Illinois, that plants 3 trees on the campus every time they have to take down one. So if they're putting in a building, and the building has to cut down 6 trees, they plant 18. That's pretty cool. But lists and examples can encourage us to change our own lives sometimes. But I think this morning I want to suggest that more than lists or inspiring people, in order to change ourselves and change the society we live in order to renew ourselves and renew our world, we must change our mindset. How we see animals and plants in the order of things matters. How we see our place in the world will lead to choices that we make from deep inside ourselves. Of course, this shift is very hard because if we make it, the society we live in feels alien to us. We are going against the grain. There are barbecue joints all over the city. There is single-use plastic in every other person's hand and on the street. And then there is the economic system that we are mired in. It continues to put profits over not only plants and water and animals, but also human animals. So many wonderful ideas go south when they are monetized, which they often are. And when you must earn money to eat within a system, your only way to survive is to bow to the system. You know, even the serfs in early England had some land where they could grow food. And with land and food in a small community of people, you had some power, since you could say no to some things because you could still eat. But today's urban dwellers, most of us, have in almost all circumstances lost the knowledge and the space to grow our own food, which makes us very vulnerable. So there is a way we can take back our power. Those that have lands, even your garden, your yard, or pots, gardens, shared housing, we could feel freer to say no to some of the ways the powerful are using us to bring them wealth. But shifts in ourselves also means we have to take a look at our own whims, our own wishes. Where do my wishes to buy things come from? From advertising, from old habits, from the influence of other people who also have been brainwashed to buy and consume without concern for its effect on the earth? Wendell Berry's strong words from the manifest, the Mad Farmer Liberation Front, show us a philosophical shift. And this verse that Scott read inspires me. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is a forest that you did not plant, that you will not live to harvest. Say the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. It is a shift in thinking and a shift in being. Kim Stanley Robinson's book, Ministry for the Future, provides a vision of how humans might actually go forward after a collapse. I'll be reading this book soon, and I know some of you will be reading it with Reverend Colin in his book group this month. I want to learn more about what people are already doing to slow carbon and to improve the livability of the planet. And I want to learn more about this habitat corridor, the Yukon to Yellowstone that we heard about. What are the other ideas in the book? I think there will be at least one way forward that I want to dig deep into understanding more and put some of my elbow grease into, and future action along with some of you, my friends, in this beloved community. And I end with a question. Have you heard of the Great Turning? The great educator and spiritual leader Joanna Macy says in her book, Active Hope, that we can look around and see 3 different stories and ways of being. One is the story of business as usual. People are going on just the way we have been for a long time, as if there isn't a climate crisis. Are people denying it? We see that, right? We look around, we see that. That's one story. We also see a second story, the great unraveling, the world in crisis, more violent and frequent storms, fires, mass extinctions, polar melts, crazy people moving into leadership. And we also see evidence of a third story, which she calls the Great Turning. We look around and we see people all over the world making choices that are shifting towards a resilient, sustainable, and caring future. Those are the people I look for and I follow and I walk beside. Jo Macy tells us to look for those who are leading the Great Turning. Maybe those leaders will be some of us. After all, what we need right now is to be building relationships with each other, with other organizations, in our communities. And I think we have some leaders here who are already doing that. So Carisha Longaker, who wrote "We Shall Be Known by the Company We Keep," which is how the song we will end the service with, she says, "In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love." So why do I do the small things I do? The gardening, the eating vegetarian, vegan, because it fits my actions with my values, not because I think that this small act I do is actually changing enough of the carbon on the planet. My being kind to one person does not make the world a much kinder place, but I do it anyway. May it be so. Amen.
I invite you to look into your order of service and find the words to "We Shall Be Known by the Company We Keep." Please rise in body or in spirit. We're going to sing it just one time through.
Please join with me in reciting the words to extinguish our chalice that you'll find in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we are together again.
It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. We shall be known as the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, alive from deep within the earth. Believe in the renewal of the natural world. Believe in yourself to live out your values. Believe in our relationship with Mother Earth and how we might work together to change the world. Go in peace.
Thank you for joining us. We want to know who you are and would love to connect with you. Please fill out the link to the online attendance form, and if you are on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining our congregation, email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much.